transgender individuals encounter unique and pervasive challenges in the workplace, from biases in hiring to daily experiences of discrimination and exclusion. Despite growing awareness of LGBTQ+ rights, transgender employees often find their path to career success hindered by systemic and social barriers that discourage authenticity, well-being, and professional growth. This video delves into the multifaceted difficulties faced by transgender employees, aiming to shed light on the changes needed to create genuinely inclusive work environments. To fully comprehend the workplace challenges faced by transgender individuals, it's essential to understand transgender identity in the context of broader social and employment landscapes. Transgender individuals, whose gender identity differs from the sex they were assigned at birth, represent a segment of the population that frequently experiences high levels of discrimination and exclusion, particularly in professional settings. Studies consistently indicate that transgender employees face higher rates of unemployment, underemployment, and wage gaps compared to their cisgender counterparts. These disparities are rooted in systemic issues, such as a lack of inclusive policies, workplace bias, and limited support for transition-related healthcare. While workplace inclusivity has improved in recent years, significant challenges persist. For transgender employees, an environment that is merely neutral or tolerant is insufficient. True inclusivity requires actively embracing gender diversity through policies, support systems, and education. This video explores the specific obstacles transgender individuals face within the workplace, examining everything from hiring practices to mental health impacts, and proposes meaningful ways organizations can foster inclusivity. Hiring processes often serve as the first point of exclusion for transgender individuals, making it challenging to secure positions in inclusive environments. Discriminatory hiring practices, both conscious and unconscious, are a significant issue. For instance, many transgender job applicants are subjected to invasive questions regarding their gender identity, appearance, or previous names. These questions can subtly or overtly convey prejudice, affecting hiring decisions. In many cases, background checks also pose challenges for transgender applicants, as previous legal names and mismatched gender markers on official documents may raise questions or bias. When hiring teams are not sensitized to handle such situations with respect and neutrality, these differences become reasons for rejecting qualified candidates. Moreover, there is evidence to suggest that transgender individuals receive lower compensation offers than their cisgender peers when hired, reflecting an underlying bias that often goes unaddressed. Even after securing employment, many transgender employees find themselves working in organizations with little or no institutional support for gender diversity. One of the biggest barriers to inclusivity is the lack of explicit policies that protect employees based on gender identity. While some companies are beginning to adopt anti-discrimination policies, they often stop short of specifying protections for transgender individuals, leaving them vulnerable to prejudice. Moreover, few workplaces provide gender-neutral facilities, such as restrooms and changing rooms, which can affect transgender employees' comfort and dignity. Access to gender-appropriate or neutral facilities is not just a preference, but a fundamental aspect of feeling safe and respected in the workplace. Additionally, transgender employees undergoing a gender transition often struggle with bureaucracy and lack support for updating internal records, such as their name or gender marker, in HR systems. This administrative neglect can create daily reminders of exclusion and discomfort, as official records continually reflect a person's pre-transition identity. Health insurance is another area where transgender individuals often face institutional challenges. Many employer-provided health plans lack coverage for gender-affirming treatments, leaving employees to shoulder high medical costs alone. Access to comprehensive health care, including transition-related procedures, is critical for the well-being of transgender employees, but coverage gaps are a frequent barrier in many workplaces. Workplace harassment is a pervasive issue that many transgender employees face, often in subtle and systemic ways that are difficult to address. Transphobic harassment can range from outright slurs to subtle forms of exclusion and microaggressions. Many transgender employees report being misgendered, addressed by the wrong pronoun, or dead-named, called by a previous name. Such incidents may appear minor to outsiders, but they carry a significant emotional toll, especially when repeated over time. The lack of adequate reporting mechanisms exacerbates these problems. In many organizations, transgender employees feel that if they report harassment, it won't be taken seriously or could even lead to retaliation. Fear of escalation or job insecurity often silences employees, leaving them to endure hostile environments without recourse. Isolation is another form of harassment that is often overlooked. In many instances, transgender employees are excluded from team social events or professional networks, further limiting their sense of belonging and ability to collaborate effectively. This isolation not only affects job satisfaction, but also hinders career growth by reducing access to mentorship and support from colleagues. The cumulative effects of workplace challenges take a toll on transgender employees' mental health and overall well-being. The constant misgendering and dead-naming can be distressing, leading to feelings of invisibility, frustration, and anger. Additionally, the pressure to conform to cis-normative standards, to blend in and avoid confrontation, creates a stressful environment where employees feel compelled to hide parts of themselves to stay employed or respected. Fear of job security also plays a role in this mental strain. Many transgender employees feel they must prove their competence continually to offset potential biases about their gender identity. For some, there's an underlying concern that if their employer finds their gender expression disruptive or unfit, it could threaten their employment status. Career progression for transgender individuals is often limited by systemic biases. Despite being qualified and performing well, transgender employees are frequently overlooked for promotions or are passed over for leadership roles due to misconceptions or biases about their capabilities. Prejudice, both explicit and implicit, impacts who gets considered for career development opportunities, resulting in a scarcity of transgender representation in senior or executive roles. The lack of transgender representation in leadership has consequences that ripple across the entire organization. Without visible transgender leaders or mentors, younger employees from the transgender community lack role models who demonstrate that career success is achievable. This absence perpetuates a cycle where transgender employees remain underrepresented in leadership, reinforcing a perception that they cannot succeed in high-ranking positions. Creating a genuinely inclusive environment requires more than a simple anti-discrimination statement. Companies must actively implement policies, practices, and cultural shifts that affirm transgender employees and address their unique needs. Organizations must establish clear anti-discrimination policies that specifically address gender identity and expression. Such policies should provide guidelines for respecting chosen names and pronouns, and ensure that transgender employees have access to gender-neutral restrooms and changing areas. Furthermore, administrative support should be available for those needing to update their personal information in internal databases, offering a seamless experience for employees undergoing gender transitions. To counteract unconscious bias, continuous education and sensitivity training for all employees are essential. Training should cover the basics of gender identity, respectful language use, and the harmful effects of microaggressions, like misgendering. Importantly, these training programs should be mandatory for all employees, including leadership, to set a precedent for respectful behavior throughout the organization. For transgender employees to feel safe and supported, companies need to offer secure and responsive channels for reporting discrimination or harassment. Anonymous reporting mechanisms and swift follow-up actions can help create an environment where employees feel empowered to report inappropriate behavior without fear of retaliation. Additionally, organizations can establish LGBTQ+ employee resource groups, ERGs, that provide transgender employees with a network of allies and mentors. To foster diversity and inclusivity in leadership, companies can adopt targeted recruitment and promotion strategies that ensure qualified transgender employees have equal opportunities to advance within the organization. Establishing transparent criteria for promotions, combined with mentorship programs, can also support transgender employees' career growth, breaking down barriers to leadership. Flexible workplace practices, such as remote work options, inclusive dress codes, and gender-neutral titles in communication, can make transgender employees feel more comfortable and respected. Simple changes, like offering gender-neutral pronouns on employee name badges or email signatures, signal a commitment to inclusivity that extends beyond policy into daily operations. The journey toward creating inclusive workplaces for transgender individuals benefits everyone involved. Organizations that embrace inclusivity foster a culture of respect and empathy, improving overall employee satisfaction, productivity, and retention rates. For transgender employees, an inclusive workplace means the chance to succeed without compromising their identity. As companies recognize and address the specific challenges faced by transgender individuals, they contribute to a stronger, more innovative workforce and a society where diversity is valued and celebrated. Finally, we would like to express our gratitude for watching till the end. We hope you found the video valuable and informative. If so, please show your appreciation by hitting the like button and leaving us a comment below. We are eager to hear from you. In the end, we have a humble request to you. We are trying hard to keep you enlightened and empowered by creating awesome videos like this. Please support us by joining our membership program. The link is in the description. Your little contribution will inspire us to make more awesome content for you like this. The next video will be published tomorrow, so don't miss it. Till then, take care. More wisdom, more solutions, better life.